this coffee's half gone already. Now, in the past, whenever I have wanted to paint something really small, like this morning I want to try and paint the tops of these things, probably the 77 here. Okay, so what happens is I'll bring the camera in nice and close, and then I'll get so into what I'm doing here that I forget to keep the piece centered in the frame, and it wanders around all over the place and maybe sometimes completely out of the frame, and I don't notice it until I'm editing out later. So I'm going to try something different today. I'm going to hang my camera from overhead. Okay, sorry about this cord. It runs from the camera to sort of a, I guess, well, you might call it a booster, and then it goes over to the monitor. Now, it doesn't have to go through this booster. It's just that this cord is only 3 feet long, and the monitor needs a cord that's about 8 feet long. So that's how I spliced it together. You get more information than you need to get. Now, my thinking is that it might be easier to hang the camera from overhead here, and let's see, how can I adjust this? Anyway, it can be adjusted, and the camera, I screw the camera on like this. Anyway, again, more information than you need. So the bottom line is, I'm going to try and see if hanging it looking straight down, it's going to, and then if I use the rotator, it's not going to be moving around on my workbench here. That's the plan. Now this thing here, when I made this going on 2 years ago now, I thought I'd be using it every single shoot. It's not as handy as I thought it would be. I thought I'd want to have my cameras hanging from overhead for everything. It just doesn't work out. I find it a lot easier to have it on the thing it's on right now, that I can slide around. And what would be ideal, and I have thought of making it, but I probably never will be a boom that could hang overhead, so that the camera could go this way, that way, and it could go up and down as well. It'd be sort of like a mobile that you put over a baby's crib, you know, that sort of thing, only instead of having 6 little things hanging down, it would just have one. It would have counterbalancing and stuff like that. It would be probably big and clunky, but it would be more useful. Maybe someday. Anyway, let's hang the camera from overhead and see what happens here. The next shoot might not be it, but we'll eventually get there. Right now, this entire piece is more or less painted with the number 22, the same gray that we've got on the sides of the bulkheads and the sides of the hull, except for the bottom, of course. Yeah, it's sort of a kind of a green gray. Now, the 77 is what I plan to use on the top here for the deck. I've used it in several places before. I'm going to use it here. I'm going to use it on the top right here. One of the viewers mentioned, are you going to paint the tops of the boxes? And I presume he meant these boxes here. Are you going to paint them black? Well, I don't think I'll paint them black, but I'm wondering if, maybe to make all the details stand out here better, I was to maybe paint these boxes, the 66, and the top 77. That wouldn't be black, but at least it would be darker. Now, I do have a black that isn't pure black. Maybe I should take a look at that yet. Also, I have to decide, what do I want to paint first? Do I want to paint the deck first, and then try and paint the sides of the boxes with the 66? I'm thinking that if, look at this around here, I find it's a lot easier to to not get paint on the boxes when I'm painting the deck than I do not getting paint on the deck when I'm painting the boxes. So I'm thinking that possibly I should be maybe painting these little boxes, the 66, the sides of it, 66 first, then do this darker 77, because I can sort of work my way up to it with the brush. When I put the macro lens on and we zoom in, you'll see what I'm talking about here. You know what, I just realized that if I have the camera hanging from overhead, you're not going to be able to see the sides of the box. Maybe this is not a good idea. Well, I do think having it on the rotator, though, is a good idea, because at least it basically keeps everything in the field of view. I call it field of view. Other people will say in frame. Could be the correct term is in frame. Now, here's something else I just thought of, and this is the first time I'm actually testing it. Is this little thing going to fall off of its pedestal when I put the pressure of the brush on it? You know, working it back and forth, it might start getting looser and looser and looser, and I don't know. Maybe having it stuck on that tape down here is not a good idea. I'm going to think of something else that will hold it, and yet I can still have it rotate on the center line. Now, the question arose in the comments from yesterday's episode, and that is, do I use isopropyl alcohol, or can I use isopropyl alcohol in my ultrasonic cleaner here? And I don't know. I know that I don't use it, and here's the reason why. Because isopropyl is flammable, especially the 99%. And I don't know, will the high-frequency vibrations possibly ignite something that is flammable, maybe like a microwave oven might. I don't know. So because I don't know, I'm not going to use it. What I do know is that it works well with Windex. I'm not worried about Windex suddenly exploding. I've also used it with hot water with a little bit of dish detergent mixed with it. That works good. I do have another machine that probably holds 10 times as much as this. This holds about, I'm guessing, maybe 250 milliliters, what would that be, half a cup? Well, maybe it holds a little more than that. Anyway, so I've used water with soap in it, and right now what I've got in there is this Iwata airbrush cleaner, and it seems to work really well with that. I would not recommend using isopropyl in an ultrasonic cleaner. Now, maybe there's somebody out there that uses it all the time and actually knows for a fact that it won't ignite. Let us know if you know for sure that that this is safe to use in this. Well, comment. But until I actually know, I'm not going to mess around with it. Okay, yes, we do have the macro lens on, but I'm not moved in quite as close as I could get. Sometimes I think that the perspective is better if we're not moved in too close. Now, I don't think we need to worry about painting the underneath of these little boxes, just the sides. So we'll just do the sides first, and that way, if I end up getting some paint on the deck here, it'll be a lot easier for me to later cover that up. So let's just see what's going to happen here. Now this is the thinned out paint, and it's might take 2 coats here. Now I don't want to get any on the top of the boxes if I don't have to. can I get in there? Trying not to touch the number 22 green. I think that'll be all right. Now, it could be that this 66 that I'm using here is just not going to make too much of a difference between the 22. I should have been more systematic here because I do believe I'm missing some of them. Did I get this side here? Yeah, doesn't look very thick. Maybe I'll turn the brush over. There's a little hair sticking out the side there. Okay, for sure I got it now. Oh, what's this right here? It looks like a little blob of something. Okay, that'll probably dry all right. Okay, I'm going to do the other one the same way. And did I miss anything? There's 8 sides. I think I did 8 sides. Okay, we'll let that dry. And then when I do the 77 on here, I'll also put some 77 on the top of these boxes and see how that looks. It could be that... Well, why don't I just check and see what that other black that I've got looks like. Okay, we've got the little boxes painted on the other piece now, and then this is the black I was talking about. Was it NATO black or NATO black? Yeah, it's just sort of an off black. I know I've used it before because I've thinned it out. I can't remember what we've used it on. Something on the Bismarck, I guess. Anyway, let's take Tony's plastic mule here and just paint a little swatch on it and see what it looks like. It's possible this was it. No, this was something else. Now, being as if this is thinned out, I'm going to want to put it on, you might say, a little bit thick here. That should be enough. Okay, it's sort of almost, you might say, pooled on. Now, I had a thought while I was doing that. If I paint the tops here black on these boxes, does that mean that all the others should be painted, including the ones that I've already mounted on the deck? You know, like right now, some of them are light gray, some of them are the darker gray, the 77. You know, it probably wouldn't be that hard to go around and very carefully do the tops of all the other boxes. Just thinking out loud here. Okay. Here we go with our 77 dark gray. I don't have any on my brush yet, but I want to only do the top. What's that on my brush? A little fluffy, I guess, off of my green towel. Okay, I don't want to be going along the edge here. I just want to only go across the top. And so I guess, I don't know, this is kind of precarious, isn't it? Well, let's see what happens. Okay, so now I just want to work my way up to the box and hope that it doesn't wick its way. Probably gonna have to do 2 coats. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to do 2 coats. Oh, gotta be careful I don't let the brush go over the edge there. Now remember, there is going to be a rail go all the way around the edge here. And, okay, let's grab the other one. Now, you can see where I got the, where the 66 ran down and got on the deck. But it's a lot, like I say, it's a lot easier for me to go like this. And if I go up the side of the box, it's not going to show as bad. Okay, now the second coat will probably fix a lot of this blotchiness. Yet on the other hand, looks like weathering. Yeah, the swabby didn't swab the deck properly. Okay. Alright, now let's get our bigger piece. I'm going to have to reposition everything. Okay, here we go with our 77. And once again, I don't have any on the brush yet, but do you remember, was it, I think in yesterday's episode, I said, what is that? And I poked at something in the corner here, and this is what I was looking at. I can't figure out what that is. Now, I don't have the macro lens on, but I don't think we need it for this really big part here. And besides, when I have the macro lens on, you see how bad of a job I'm actually doing. So I'm just going to take my little brush here and just try and get into the corner with it without running up the sides. And once again, I'll be using my larger brush and giving it 2 coats. Probably got too much on there. It's pooling. Now, around these mounting, positioning boxes, I don't want to get it too thick. I'm sorry, I didn't have it adjusted so you could see what's going on there. Now, the second coat is probably going to cover a lot better. At least that was my experience when I used this very same jar of paint on something else there. Now, I don't want to be going over it too much because the number 22 will start to dissolve and start mixing in. I think you can probably see now why I wanted to have this on the turntable. I should be playing music right now. Oh, that wasn't very good. Well, like I keep saying, the second coat is going to cover all those little imperfections. Not going so good here. Maybe this paint is just too thinned out. That went better. Got to almost pool it on. Alright, now, is there any place that I missed there? See, I can use the wide brush to go everywhere else now. And I'm just going to stop the camera here for a moment because I want to clean this brush out so it doesn't get hard. Although, believe it or not, I've mentioned this before. Let's say I was to forget this and it sat overnight even. Windex will dissolve that and make it just like new. Okay, we're back. Now, don't touch the wall. Now this ring in the middle here, I wonder if it would actually look better if it was a different color. And just go right up to the edge there. Would it actually contrast better? Something is going to go on top of here. Okay, I think I did a pretty good job of not getting the rivets covered. So for those of you who are rivet counters, make it a little easier to count the rivets. Oh, that's too much. One nice thing about this Tamiya paint, when it's really thinned out like this, it shrink wraps around everything really well. Now I got to try and get in behind here without touching the wall. Now there is going to be a box there anyway. One of the larger ones. Now, again, I realize this looks really blotchy, but once it dries, and after the second coat, I do believe, oh, I got to get in behind. Just in behind here, I didn't do too good. Mind you, it is going to be covered by the box anyway. Okay. I don't know, you can't see it, but I can see it just in behind there. Okay. Yeah, I don't need to paint these because they're going to be covered anyway. So why did I paint them? Okay, let's just let that dry now. What time we got here in Winnipeg? Okay, it's about 18 minutes after 2. I think maybe we just should wrap this episode up. You notice right in there I could have got a little closer to the wall. I think I improved it. Same thing right here. Don't touch the wall. Okay. All right, let's just leave this, and we'll see how it turns out tomorrow. I don't know if I'll video putting the second coat on or not. Probably you've had all you can handle of this. So I think I'm probably just going to go ahead and put the second coat on. And why is that little bumpy right there? Yeah, I'm going to just call it quits for today. Thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.